We continue to watch how the markets and the overall economy react to President Donald Trump's tariffs. And as we often see, as the economy goes, so does the polling. Our Savannah Levins asked the host of NBC's Meet the Press, Kristen Welker, for her take on another newsworthy week in Washington.
Kristen, we saw President Trump meet this week with the Italian Prime Minister to talk about trade. The president also not too happy with the Federal Reserve chair. What are you seeing about how these things are affecting the White House politically?
Savannah, it's great to be with you. We are getting new numbers from CNBC, which shows for the first time President Trump is underwater when it comes to his handling of the economy. We've actually never seen that before in this CNBC poll. He gets low marks for his handling of tariffs as well. And so that's part of this backdrop against which he was meeting with the Italian Prime Minister, hoping to strike a trade deal. The president signaling that he is confident that ultimately they will get a number of trade deals once those 90 days are up. But it does come amid those growing tensions between President Trump and Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell said that the tariffs could cause additional intensifying inflation. The president didn't like those comments, signaled he is thinking about asking the Fed chair to step down. The Fed chair, by the way, saying his response to that would be no. So how does this all end? You have some Democrats warning that replacing the Fed chair could lead the markets to really tank and would only lead to more volatility on Wall Street. So it's one of the threads that we're watching very closely as the world waits and watches to see if President Trump, if the administration can in fact strike some trade deals within that 90-day period.
Yeah. So let's talk about Meet the Press this Sunday. You'll have two senators on, Republican John Kennedy from Louisiana and Democrat Chris Van Hollen from Maryland, who was just in El Salvador meeting with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was deported there, even though the courts have ruled he shouldn't have been. Kristen, right now, this is the White House versus the courts, it feels like, but some Democrats are also warning that this is a distraction.
It is, and it's fascinating to see how Democrats are responding so differently to this moment. You're absolutely right to point out that aspect of it. We are going to be talking to Senator Chris Van Hollen. We'll get his inside take on how the meeting with Kilmar Abrego Garcia came to be, what his key takeaways are. You have a number of Democrats cheering what Senator Chris Van Hollen did, and then you have some Democrats more cautious. Governor Gavin Newsom of California, for example, saying that this is a mere distraction and the Democrats are falling into a trap. I can tell you, I've been talking to administration officials, Savannah. They believe that this is a strong issue for President Trump. He's still getting high marks, again, in that CNBC poll on his handling of the border. And so they think that ultimately this emboldens the president. But this standoff with the courts has a lot of Democrats, even some Republicans, concerned. And we will be talking to Senator Kennedy about that aspect of this.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a great show. Meet the Press airs Sunday morning at 10, followed by the Georgia Vote. Kristen, thanks so much.